All right, so good morning. My name is Brian Morrow. I'm the creative director for SeaWorld Parks Entertainment. And today I'm going to share with you some information about our newest land and newest attraction coming to Busch Gardens, Tampa, which is Pantopia. Now, Pantopia is a made-up place that we created on our own as we expand our brand beyond simply the continent of Africa. You've seen us do it over the past few attractions and moving into a wider breadth of exotic cultures and stories that we can tell to bring really nature and imagination to our guests every day here at the park. So Pantopia is actually a place where travelers from around the world can come and take refuge, take pause, and have a moment to share their stories about their adventures from around the planet. It's also located at the heart of Busch Gardens. So our guests will also have that same experience where they can travel around the whole of Busch Gardens, and here in the center at the heart is Pantopia, where they can experience everything that Busch Gardens has to offer in one place. So there's a lot of influences from animals that are all in the collection here at Busch Gardens Tampa that our guests will get to see and experience. And there's also colors, style, and physical props from around the world that will bring Pantopia to life. Pantopia was really founded by one guy, and he arrived in his hot air balloon. And that hot air balloon crashed right here on this tower, which we call the Key Gate, right into Pantopia, and he became the key master. So he has all the keys right here in this gate that open all the doors of Pantopia. And us as travelers can simply come here, get a key from him, and stay as long as we want and experience all that Pantopia has to offer. There are themed doors all around the land of Pantopia that tell the stories of the permanent residents of Pantopia. Everything from a tea salesman to a guy that's really obsessed with little collection of elephant tchotchkes, to the navigation lead, which actually his door is right here, and he actually has all the navigation gear for people that are traveling to and from and out of Pantopia. And inside of Pantopia is not only Falcons Fury, the super extreme thrill ride, face down, 335 feet. Really, really an amazing ride attraction. We're also rebranding and cleaning up and kind of repositioning all of our family attractions in the land. So there'll be something for everybody to do here at Pantopia. And new to Pantopia is 3 new culinary offerings, everything from snow cones to smoothies to pretzels, homemade, made right in front of you, pretzels with everything from stuffed with sausages to cheese to pizza to everything, and it's really an amazing culinary delight for our guests to experience here in Pantopia. And also a brand new show is coming. It'll take over the new Pantopia Theater. It'll be indoors. It'll be our animal show, which used to be called Critter Castaway, which is outside, is now moving to the indoor theater, which is now under renovation, and it'll be branded into a whole new show, all new creative that fits the theme of Pantopia. That's it. That's a lot.
That's a wrap.
So you can ask any questions here, and if not, we'll go inside and see fun stuff. Whichever you want to do.
Is that Land Rover from right around?
Maybe. How did you figure that out? No, there's a few. Interesting. There's a you probably saw an image of what we call the sitting place, the beer garden. There's a big water wheel in that image. That's actually a recycled prop from the old Critter Castaway show. So we do a lot of pulling and taking. Why not, right? Actually, there's some doors and architecture elements that are coming from the Akbar queue that will actually be taken out and put over here too as well. So we're kind of doing this cool, and I'll talk about Akbar here in a second because he operates this building now, the Painted Camel Bazaar. He has a role in this Pantopia as well, Akbar. He's back. All right, so we'll go inside. That's good. All right. Is actually what we refer to as the transportation hub. So as travelers arrive through the Key Gate into Pantopia, this is where they would leave their transportation devices that they use to get here. So we have a hot air balloon, we have a tuk-tuk that'll be sitting here, actually with a jewelry shelf inside the tuk-tuk, which is like a little metal 3-wheeled motorized bicycle. We have some rickshaws, and we have a plane. So, and there's actually a Jeep involved as well. So this is sort of where everything is left, because there's no need to take your travel equipment inside of Pantopia. You can just leave it right here. It'll be safe. Everything's cool in Pantopia. And here you'll see influence of design of automotive parts and pieces like hubcaps, wheels, bicycles that are used to decorate and enhance everything from planter walls to building facades. All around you. So it's all sort of themed around transportation, which fits into the theme of our children's ride area around the corner, which are all transportation themed rides. That will be coming back for the kids. Trains, planes, and motorcycles. Good. Go inside. This actually be really beautiful. So now we're actually inside of the Painted Camel Bazaar. This is the main retail venue of Pantopia, and it's actually run by Akbar. So the outside sign of the Painted Camel Bazaar is a camel that Akbar used to transport goods from around the world to here to resell to the travelers of Pantopia and the visitors of Pantopia. And it's called Painted Camel because Akbar liked to drape his camel with various cloths and fabric from around the world. So people would say, there goes that shiny painted camel again. So that's why it's called the Painted Camel. And then Akbar had a really good little primate monkey friend that was very naughty and mischievous, who would often steal the keys from around Pantopia and bring them back here to the store. So the sign, you'll see the painted camel draped in his fabric with a monkey on top holding a key. And that is the story of the Painted Camel Bazaar. So Akbar kind of gave up on this tourism business he had down there with the tours he was selling. He's shut that business down and now he's reopened his office and shop here, which is kind of cool. So I'm going to run through actually the images you see here, but everything you're seeing are actually physical props that were imported or constructed from historical reference photos to actually be used here in Pantopia. So I'm going to run through sort of clockwise here and talk about the buildings. This elevation is a hand-painted watercolor. These are some of the original designs that we did to share and convey what Pantopia could look like to our friends here at the park and our leadership and everywhere. So everybody's, they got really excited about it. And it's actually everything's a color story now. Instead of the Western Moroccan or Western African style of Timbuktu, that's all gone as we explore new imaginative lands and more imaginative stories here at Busch Gardens, Tampa, but all rooted in nature and discovery and animal stories, of course. You see the colors go from eggplant to cold to hot, and that's exactly what's going to happen. The cold is cold because that's actually operated by Frosty Christolos, who is a Greek who flew an airplane to Antarctica and back, and also the Arctic to explore the cold regions of the world. His plane came back to the transportation hub, couldn't get it started again, so he turned the plane into the sign for the store, and his plane, which was called Lynx Airlines, is now called Lynx Frozen Treats, which is a new culinary offering here at Pantopia. They sell smoothies and snow cones. And the color story starts to change, starts to get hot as we go into Komodo Dragon, red hot fire plates, which will then move right into our, you can't see it here, you see a bigger image later, moves right into our new outdoor grill, which will sell meat on sticks, kebabs, and that is the Dragon Fire Grill. And that's how that kind of color story all kind of wraps around. This is the elevation that we just walked by outside of the Painted Camel Bazaar, and you'll see the color changes and everything that's happening, a lot of textures. Key influences are in everything. Keys of Pantopia are very important. And then the jeweled crowns, or tiaras I call them, of the buildings. So the buildings are really draped in all these shiny, reflective objects to make them beautiful and shiny and eclectic and fun. Moving around, you can start to see some of the real artifacts that will actually be in the actual land outside. And into, talked about this already. We'll move to these two. So this is an influence and flavor board that was developed particularly for the store, of what we wanted the store to look and feel like. And so for a year, our visual teams and our creative teams and our prop master have been selecting props from around the world to fill the store up. And these props will be used as the retail fixtures as well. So it's a really new way of really looking at retail for us, and something that our guests here at Busch Gardens Tampa have not seen before. This is the west gate. So this gate is actually located over at Congo, or over by the bumper cart area. So its paint has already started. The prayer flags all represent the animals from Pantopia and from Busch Gardens. And then last but not least is probably one of my favorite things, is the new Grand Carousel tent. So it's in paint right now. That is getting a lot of attention and a lot of gilded, textured, golden, rich tones and flavors to really make it look like a big caravan tent with the carousel underneath it. So one of the original attractions of the park is getting a facelift as well, along with the brand new attraction of Falcons Fury. So with that, I will stop talking and leave you guys to any questions you have.
I have one.
Yeah.
The menu at the new Fire Eaters Grill?
Dragon Fire Grill.
Dragon Fire Grill. Is it replacing the current menu that's in the...
So it's addition. So this is basically a grab and go out front. It's a big open flame barbecue pit.
Okay.
So you'll see it. It's kind of like we have over at Smokehouse over at Shikra. So, but it's not selling barbecue. It's selling more mobile foods,
right.
Food on sticks. That's what I call it. I wanted to sell it on swords, but we couldn't get that worked out. So it's food on sticks. But yeah, it's all sort of walk up, grab, and walk around. So it's big kebabs.
Okay.
Is what you think. And then the menu, the inside of Desert Grill will remain as it looks today when Pantopia opens.
Okay.
The inside of the main restaurant will be relatively the same. Will there be changes to the dinner shows or anything like that? Will there be new shows?
I believe in typical fashion, the entertainment team here cycles those shows out constantly every summer, so I'll expect to see new shows going there as well. And then Critter Castaways moves to the theater, the old 40 Theater, which is being remodeled right now into our Critter Castaways show, which will have a new name. Is the name out, Travis?
Yes, Opening Night Critters.
Opening Night Critters, and so it's based on the story. It's Pantopia Theater, and it's the opening night of the big show in Pantopia with animals from around the world. So it fits our theme here at Pantopia, and not everything goes as planned. So it's a good comedy show with the same critters and the animals you've seen us use before. Good.
So, what you guys probably already know, what we're building behind me, this big mammoth tower behind me. This is the nation's largest freestanding drop tower. So to put that into perspective, if you look behind me, you can see Shikara kind of off in the distance. Take Shikara, that's 200 feet tall. And then you put the Cheetah Hunt Tower on top of that. And then you put our Air Grover roller coaster on top of that. This is taller than all of them. So anybody who's been on Shikara before, you know when you get to the very top, you're looking down, everything looks really small. But on this ride, when you get up to the top, you're actually looking down on Shikara. It's a very unique, different perspective. So, you know, Shikara up to this point has really been the big daddy for the park, but really that's just going to be a stepping stone to get up to the Falcons. So, and not only is it tall, which you can see so much cool stuff. You'll see Orlando, you'll see St. Petersburg, Miami. You'll see it all. But once you get up to the very top, you'll ride in seats just like this over here. We'll take you up to the very top, very close to 300 feet tall. And then we'll tilt those seats 90 degrees straight down. So not only do you get the great majestic views up at the very top, but you get the earth-shattering views looking down at the ground. So we'll take you on those seats, tilt you, so you're looking down and you don't see anything else other than the ground down there. You'll see a bunch of ants and those are people because they're going to be so small. So once you get to that top there, not only is that going to be intense enough, but we also wanted to kick that up a notch. Because for Shikara, anybody who's ridden on that, you know that we hold you up there for a certain amount of time. You can kind of count down mentally in your head how long it's going to be. But for this ride, we wanted to make that even more unnerving. So we're going to have a randomizer sequence up at the very top. So it may be 1 second we'll hold you, it could be 5 seconds we hold you. So we're not going to let you know when we're going to drop you. We're not going to give you any times or anything like that. But we'll hold you up there and we're just going to let you go.
Just like that.
Just like that. So we'll let you go, and we'll just let gravity take over. So that's the way it works. It takes about a minute to get to the very top, and as we drop you, you'll free fall for 5 to 6 seconds. So when you guys get home, you should scream for 5 to 6 seconds and see how long that is. It's a long amount of time. You almost have to catch your breath because you're going to be screaming for so long. So the ride experience as you're dropping. So once you get up to the top, you rotate your seats 90 degrees. As you're dropping, we'll rotate your seats back into the seated position as you're dropping before you hit the main brake run. So if anybody's been skydiving before, you've seen skydiving before, this ride is just going to be as close to skydiving without getting onto an airplane. So as you're falling down, if you're skydiving, you pull your parachute, right? You pull your parachute and it kicks you back into your seated position as you're falling. So this will be very similar dynamic motion. You'll be falling, tilt your seats down, and then brake run as you're dropping. So it'll be unlike anything that you guys have experienced before. Really dynamic and really fun. So that's the ride experience in a nutshell. Some of the other nitty-gritty facts about the ride: we've got 32 seats in an octagonal fashion. They're in seats are grouped in rows of 4. So as you get to the very top, each of those sets of 4 rotates as you're falling down. It takes about a minute to get up to the top. Total ride experience is a little over 2 minutes. So it'll be a pretty good ride. The capacity for the ride is a little under 800 people an hour. The ride itself, you can see, is almost completely assembled up to this point. This past weekend, we put the top cap up at the very top. So you'll see in the next few days, our crane will be going away, and we'll start the process of getting all the electrical components terminated, getting everything rung in, and then we bring in the ride manufacturer to do their ride testing and commission. So, and what I'm looking forward to the most would be the first test ride for it. So I'm anxiously awaiting that day when we get to be on the first ride, the first drop, so to speak.
We are now going to have the feast hall. And what better thing to have than the Dragon Fire Grill? If you can have flames and fire and dragons involved, there's nothing better than that. So right to the left, we will have show cooking. So we'll bring out our meats and things like that, and we'll be grilling them. So we'll have that aroma just going all through Pantopia. If you're not riding the ride, you're going to want to eat. So we'll give you a good chance to do it right here at the feast hall, and you can see how vibrant all that's going to be transformed into these rich colors and detailed themes. Pretty cool stuff, huh? The Scorpions, one of our favorite children's rides. You can ride the Scorpion when you're only 42 inches tall. So it's kind of a beginner coaster for us. And we're going to have a large sculpture of a scorpion over there that you'll have to walk through. So the kids will be wanting to get their picture taken with that.
Just as a note, guys, the feast hall is sort of a placeholder. The name may change.
Okay.
It hasn't been dubbed the feast hall quite yet. So, but it is Dragon Fire Grill.
Dragon Fire Grill. And this is going to be our Twisted Tail Bakery. So there are two lemurs that have that came onto the site, and they twist their tails, and it makes it look like a pretzel, which inspired the baker here to make pretzels. So you can come in here and buy a variety of foods, including crafted beers, and this will all be more aromas that we'll put into Pantopia. So. We have another gateway into Pantopia, which is right here. That when you go out, you will go to the Jungala realm. So this again is highly decorated and will be your entry point into Pantopia. Behind me is the Timbuktu Theater, which will be converted to the Pantopia Theater, which will have an entirely new show. If you remember, it had a 4D theater in there where you'd see different films and it would interact with the seats. Now it's going to be a show with critters. So your household pets of dogs and cats and some exotic pets will be part of the show. So let's go in and see how we've had to tear that completely to the ground almost and rebuild it.
Give us a few minutes, so
We're good.
do our Q&A and we're good.
If you were here in the late 70s, this was actually a dolphin show, which we converted in 2003 to a 4D show. And with the 4D show, everything was on a big screen, so you kind of got to look up. But now, with everything being on the stage with our animals, we had to rate the seating. So the back is actually brought up another 8 feet. So, big piece of work going on right here. You're the first to see it, too. Those other groups, When you came in through the key gateway over there with the smoothie bar, the Lynx treat, over here will get you to come from Jungala with kettle corn. Who doesn't like kettle corn, right? So we'll have this opportunity at this end, and you can see how we're going to repaint the Grand Caravan Carousel. So it is inspired by a Bedouin that came through Pantopia with his tapestries and rugs, and some of them got left behind. So this will be the entry point from Jungala.